It's all over, Lieutenant! With the hero, catch the dirtbag who's been turning people into infernals man on the scene, there's nowhere to run!
Hello everybody, Megazard X here. I'm back at it again to give you my Fire Force review for this week's episode 9, The Spreading Malice. And if you haven't already checked out my episode 8 review, you can go ahead and click that card in the corner and check that video out, and then come back and check this one. But man, if you're a fan of animation, or you're a fan of battle sequences, or if you like a little bit of fan service kind of thrown in there with your traditional shonen jump, this episode 9 had all of it. And man, that animation for David Productions, man, that was some pretty sick stuff. And I heard a general consensus from many people that happened to watch this episode was like, wait a minute, what do you mean this wasn't like a full-blown episode? Like, when you go into like battle action sequences like this, and when it's like this good and kind of gets your attention that much, man, the time flies by. And man, that time flew by for me as well though. But in this week's episode, I'm going to give you all the breakdown for all of this stuff, and we kind of got a little bit more into some of the plot and kind of the stuff that's kind of going around in the shadows, and overall, just my overall impressions for this episode. So go ahead and sit back and relax and get comfortable as we go over this latest episode of Fire Force.
I don't care if there's nowhere to fall back to, because the only direction I ever move is forward!
Then call me. Keep that murderer from moving at all, man!
So starting off where the episode left off from last week, we saw Tamaki basically, in the corner. Rekka was about to go in for like a devastating finishing blow, and we saw a little bit of a flashback that was a little bit of a new scene, how Tamaki really admired Rekka as, she was following behind, those 3 lieutenants for Company 1. And how it just kind of showed the admiration that she had towards this person. And the matter of fact that he just flipped this switch, and all this time that, he was been basically corrupted and was doing all of these evil things. And the matter of fact that he kind of used her to his advantage and basically had her participate in his evil doings. It was just all too much for her to bear. And, mentally, it just took a strong toll on her. And, she was just asking for help. And then that's when Shinra busted in to the scenes. And that's pretty much where the start of this episode basically kicks off with the new content. So as Shinra was questioning what a Dora Burst is, which is, this thing that they've been kind of looking for, that they've been talking about throughout this episode, Rekka tells him it is a thing that he and the others are looking for under his leader's guidance. And the leader that they were talking about in this episode was the evangelist. So this evangelist dude was the one that's basically hired Rekka to basically, consult and do all of these other experiments on these other humans. And yeah, and they just kind of went more into that. He goes on to say that he planted the sparks within the children to find a compatible person, to which Shinra becomes enraged and begins to attack. Rekka ridicules Shinra for being so easily agitated and fiercely punches him, to which he accidentally lands into Tamaki's cleavage. As she pushes him away, Shinra is attacked by a flurry of flaming punches that eventually reach Tamaki, burning all of her clothes, leaving her in just basically bikini brawl, essentially. And Shinra looks at her dazzled, but falls victim to Rekka's punch again and ends up all over Tamaki, seductively. As she pushes him away again, encouraging him to fight, she grips onto his back, begging him to defeat Rekka. Now determined, Shinra walks towards him confidently taking a minute to think about the situation, he realizes that the best way to defeat him is to use greater mobility in the surrounding area. As he kind of noted when in the battle, he's basically has the same strength or maybe a little less strength than Rekka. So if he can manage to use the area around him, bouncing and kicking off of the walls and everything else and off of the ceiling, then he could probably gain the advantage over him. Rekka burns his sleeves and prepares to go all out. The two clash fist versus leg essentially, and Shinra uses his flying ability to dash to a wall, and Rekka prepares to punch him. He quickly moves to cover the company commander before the latter can react, and explosively kicks him upward. Rekka continues to punch him, but Shinra manages to dodge all of his attacks. As he prepares for his final attack, Shinra lands onto the ceiling and jumps off rapidly, falling into the opponent at incredible speed with a fiery kick and landing a direct critical hit on Rekka's face. So Shinra triumphs in this intense battle with Rekka as Tamaki prepares to evacuate the children, and she sees a defeated Rekka and reminisces about the good times at the 1st Special Fire Brigade that she currently resided in. Resisting his skate state, Rekka urges that now he's found a compatible child, he won't let them escape, and begins attacking once again. Before he could accomplish anything, he found his arms frozen solid into a pillar of ice as Karen Flam walks into the room from behind and uses his freezing ability to end Rekka's actions. Before anyone can have any peace of mind, a bright light comes down and pierces, frozen Rekka in this, huge thing of ice. It pierces him basically through the chest, and that basically ends him. That essentially probably took his life. And that threw everybody into a state of confusion, like where was this coming from and everything. And then instantly Karam knew that it was basically like a sniper. So basically they had to Karam told Shinra to fill up the whole area with a smoke screen. So Shinra was zipping around with his fire left and right and basically got the whole thing up in smoke. So basically to cut the visibility from the sniper. And from there he told Tamaki to throw up, random angles of fire that he instantly froze. So it kind of let the enemy knew that, hey, we know that there's a sniper out there. And thanks to Shinra, kind of spotting out the enemy, they were able to pinpoint the person's location. So then it was kind of like a warning signal saying, hey, we know where you're at. And it basically said, well, thanks to that and the smoke screen, the sniper couldn't have a clear shot no more. So basically they left. Shinra wanted to go after them, but Karam told him, hey, at this point, your body's kind of wore out, because when people are using their flames and fires as their ability being like a second or third generation firefighter, essentially it uses the oxygen within your body, like within your blood, and that fuels your fire. So essentially everybody had the limit, and Shinra was basically getting to that limit due to him, flying around the city to trying to find Tamaki and, find the person that was, turning the people into infernals. By the time he did all that and battled Rekka, he was basically burned out at that point. So that's pretty much where most of the meats and potatoes kind of ended for that episode though. But the matter of fact that this sniper came out of nowhere and took Rekka's life, the second that they captured him, they were about to get questions out of him about the whole, infernals and who he was working for and everything. Somebody, the sniper took his life. So this makes me question, are these people that are actually associated with Hajime Industry, like what what Princess Hibana basically said that she works for, and they have to keep a lot of their secrets? Or is this another hidden entity? Maybe this kind of deals back with the Joker guy that showed back, in the earlier episodes, and maybe there's like a second, evil organization group that's kind of going on. It kind of raises more questions, as we are almost about to get certain answers answered thanks to Rekka and them capturing him. Unfortunately, that's not the case anymore. So now it kind of leaves even more questions with these new people coming up with these assassins and basically, taking his life. Basically, probably try to conserve and prevent information leaking from Rekka if, you know, if they were going to interrogate him and try to get answers out of him, though. But overall, this was a jam-packed episode. I really liked the action fighting scenes, and everything was, you know, a complete joy. And at the very end of the episode, it was shown that, you know, due to the incidents that happened with the first, with Rekka and everything, and due to the fact that how Tamaki was kind of tied into Rekka's actions, she basically went like on a temporary leave. You can sort of kind of think about it like that, or like a suspension from Company 1, so they were able to transfer her to Company 8. And to nobody's shock and surprise, I don't think this would have came as, you know, revealing, because, you know, we saw Tamaki, you know, in the opening, she was kind of very close to all the other people, being author, you know, you had Maki, you also had Sister Iris and everybody else up in there in that opening, in terms of, like, you know, the younger groups compared to like Captain Obi or Lieutenant Hinawa. So I knew that she was coming. I didn't know exactly how, but then once I figured out that that Company 1 was, you know, suspected for having some associations with the Infernals, I was thinking, okay, something bad's gonna happen with, you know, the first company that's gonna allow her to kind of transfer over into Company 8. And that's pretty much where the episode ended. So I'm curious to know all of your thoughts and everything that you thought of about this episode. What did you really like about the episode? Or was there something that you actually didn't like about the episode? Just leave all your thoughts down in the comment section down below. And just a quick little news update. In terms of my Fire Force reviews, I have some family obligations that I have to do next weekend. So I am going to be unable to actually review episode 10 due to those family obligations. But I will be back to be able to review episode 11. So, you know, that week after the episode 10 airs, when the 11 airs, I was thinking of potentially doing a 2-for-1 review. So I was going to be able to go back and recap over what happened in episode 10 and give you the review for what will happen in 11. So it'll be like 2 reviews in one, essentially, to catch myself back up. So I'm sorry about the little inconvenience, but hey, when life happens, and, you know, I've kind of already been kind of planning around this and everything, though. But thankfully, I was able to squeeze out this review. And if you check my Twitter, you'll probably see some little updates on that. You can check my Twitter down in the description below. But yeah, that's probably my best way to kind of keep you updated on what my future plans are in terms of my anime reviews, or even my other gaming topics that I do on the channel as a whole, though. But thank you for understanding, and yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the news update. So without any further ado, that's pretty much all for this episode review. So next time, tune in for what would be my episode 10 review, The Promise, as well as what would normally be on that week of the episode 11 review. Insert title here, because we don't know what the title of that episode would be yet, though. So yeah, that is all for this episode, and I'll catch you around on whatever video I make next. So see ya.
Rekka was just Rekka to me. It's hard to imagine him keeping a secret, or hiding what he felt. Company 8's investigating the other special companies, right? I bet you're after the Evangelist too. I want him caught just as much as you guys do. Let's catch him together.
That sounds good to me.